good to be back with you once again right here on the India Development Debate, and this is the second leg of the show this evening. WhatsApp clearly is in trouble, already under fire over the spread of explosive messages filled with rumors, quote unquote. The mass messaging platform is now staring at a second show cause notice from the government. Reports do suggest at this point in time that WhatsApp may even be told to install filters to weed out fake news. The thinking within the government is that if WhatsApp can target specific user group for directing ads, then it should also be able to use the same levers to detect fake news. The government's move comes a day after the Supreme Court asked it to frame stringent laws to curb what it calls mobocracy.
Maybe it sounds like a noble idea, but one cannot miss the hidden plot to blame WhatsApp for all the ills of the society. To begin with, mob attacks existed in the pre-WhatsApp era too, and many say the government is also to be blamed for using social media tools to the hilt for political gains. Questions are also raised on whether elected governments can remain mute spectators to mobocracy, blaming it all on the likes of WhatsApp and Facebook. The blame game over mobocracy, that's what we're discussing tonight on the second leg of the India Development Debate. Joining us on the show, Vaibhav Agarwal of the BJP, Adil Singh Bopra, spokesperson of the Congress, MN Singh, former Mumbai Police Commissioner, and Apar Gupta, Supreme Court lawyer and co-founder, Internet Freedom Foundation. Let me start with you, Mr. Singh, joining us. If I could begin with you, Mr. Singh, while lynchings in India have predated the era of WhatsApp and Facebook, estimates suggest that 33 people have been killed in 69 mob attacks in the last 18 months. Over 3/4 of them can be attributed to the spread of fake news through social media platforms. Simple question, can we absolve these social media giants of the responsibility in curbing fake news? Mr. Singh.
Well, yes, there are certain measures which need to be taken, but let me tell you, the Supreme Court orders asking the Parliament and the state assemblies to legislate new laws is almost taking it, making it very simplistic as a law and order problem. Supreme Court has said a lot, many things like setting up a fast track courts and directing the trial courts to give maximum punishment, giving compensation and making some administrative arrangements at the district level to monitor these cases. So there are a whole lot of things which need to be done. Besides the legal aspect of the problem, I think there is also this aspect of the hate crime which is going on in the country, and there's some kind of an atmosphere being built around this vigilantism, which is the main reason why such offences have risen so much in the last 2-3 years. See, ever since this cow slaughter law came into existence, there has been a rapid rise in the cases of mob lynching, and then that is one group which is, it seems, driven more by religious frenzy. The other group which is driven totally by some misinformation campaign going on the social media. Now, to deal with the first aspect is that the mob lynching done by religious groups, you need to strengthen the legal system and also do something more on the social and political realm to control this. As far as the mob lynching based on the misinformation campaign, like misuse of social media, you got to monitor this social media and find out ways of curbing this spread of mischief.
Mr. Singh, if I may come in at this point in time, I think you make an excellent point that this isn't as simplistic as it sounds. This is a far more complex problem. This is a problem where crimes of hate are happening on religious grounds, and I think that needs a more legal framework to deal with. But I'll take a quick question to Apar, who's also joining us right here on the India Development Debate this evening. Apar Gupta, the Supreme Court lawyer and co-founder of Internet Freedom Foundation. And Apar, there are two parts to what WhatsApp has done so far. Point number one, a digital literacy campaign. We've all woken up to see full-page ads warning against fake news, and it has changed its interface to indicate when the content is original and when it has been forwarded. You know, that small arrow that's coming for everybody wondering what that is. Is that, however, going to be enough to curb fake news? It's not as if those forwards have stopped. And how am I as a citizen going to know and going to go track it back to?
Definitely this is not going to stem the tide of quote-unquote fake news, because fake news also is a phrase which means a lot of things to a lot of people. and there's subjectivity within it. So not focusing on that. I think what the first speaker highlighted was it's at its root a problem of law and order. It's linked to cattle laws. It's linked to a rise in vigilantism. So, you know, there are complex social churns which are also happening. Of course, if we just focus on the product, what's the role of WhatsApp and what kind of features it can possibly build, there are certain baselines which we first need to think about. The first is that WhatsApp offers end-to-end encryption, and end-to-end encryption essentially means it can't read our messages and it doesn't have access to actually decrypting those messages as well. Now, this offers not only privacy to users who use WhatsApp, but it also offers a higher degree of protection. It means that your messages can't be intercepted, people can't get to know what you're talking about. Now, this does have that flip side, that what happens when those messages are inciting violence, and what happens when those messages are spreading rumors which lead to loss of life, injury, as well as riot-like situations. Now, there are certain suggestions which are coming about for building in additional product features which do not compromise the freedom of speech and expression as well as privacy, and these include persistent fact-checked notifications in which the media diversity within WhatsApp as an application can be increased. For instance, if you get a message, let's say about X person's death, who's a public personality, and we know that these kind of rumors are also spread quite often that, hey, this well-known politician passed away, or this kind of incident happened. So it can link to possibly trusted news sources, established news sources such as ET or other platforms as well.
Sure.
And people can go there, check it up, and possibly have a greater ease, less friction in checking the veracity of such assertions.
Okay.
What's important, and this is the point I want to leave,
Sure.
and a small thought I want to leave is, let's respect freedom of speech and expression and privacy while building these product features.
That's an important point you're making, because whatever features we build, we must respect the freedom of privacy. That's an important point. But Vaibhav Agarwal, if I could come to you, the Supreme Court order yesterday clearly says that the state is duty bound to ensure law and order and to prevent mobocracy. You can't wash your hands of the problem by sending show cause notices to WhatsApp and Facebook.
So what do you want us to do, Sandeep?
Take concrete steps, improve the law and order situation. There's some accountability to the state government as well, like Mr. Singh pointed out on the show, Vaibhav.
Mr. Singh doesn't know what he's talking about, I'm sorry, with all due respects, because the cow slaughter law has not come into effect right now. It has existed for over 40 years. Yes, with all due respects, but it has existed in different states which are Congress ruled states like Karnataka, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan. So, you know, this vigilantism is not a today's responsibility. Vigilantism is a social vice. It is not about which government is in place right now. It is not about religious hatred or something like that anyone wants to talk about. And categorically, when you've brought up, Sandeep, Supreme Court's order, I think we need to understand that the moment we bring in religion in this debate, it will be contempt of court. So let's not bring mobocracy and lynching related to
come in for a minute? Vaibhav, can I come in for a minute, please?
Situation. The law are one minute, Supriya.
Vaibhav, can I?
One minute. Let me complete. Let me complete.
No, I have a question for you, Vaibhav.
Under the law and order,
I have a question for you. Okay, go ahead.
Law that is there. Under 1 minute. Let me complete. So, under the law and order, I need to answer Sandeep's thought very clearly. Under the law and order, there is sufficient law that exists in the system already. Okay, it just needs more implementation from a social value generation perspective. Under IPC 147, 129, 14, 18, 19, 21, you know, while Apar said yes, there is reasonable restrictions that are available, I do not agree that there is a social churn. Apar made a because of lynching and all that, Apar made a very political statement there. I would have preferred if he would have stuck to facts on this matter. The facts state that it is a social vice, and we have to take a 360-degree view on how to curtail it and how to stop it.
Vaibhav, I have two things too. Yes, fair point. That's a very That's a measured statement, and I will let Adil Singh Boparai come in because I think he wants to come in and counter you. But before I go, I have two issues with what you said. Number one, you asked Sandeep in response to a question, what do you expect to do? The elected government is elected to maintain law and order. That is what is expected of any elected government in any state or the central government. That is what you are expected to do. And I think on the second point, I want to point out a statistic, and I usually don't do that in response to a guest, but I think it's important I do that. From 2012 until today, there were 78 cow-related hate crimes that have been reported across the country. 97% of these have happened in the last 3 years. There was one incident in 2012 and one incident in 2013. So don't make vigilantism or don't make lynching sound as if this was happening since time immemorial. I have an issue with that statement. But let me take it over to Adil Singh Boparai because I think he wants to make a point there. But Adil, even as you make that point, you know, it's not as if lynching has not happened in the country. I grant Webb of that. What I don't grant him is that there's an exorbitant rate at which it has increased. Hold on. Adil Singh Boparai, come in. So are we going to go back to 1662 to now frame laws for India? Is that how we will stay in a civil society? What are you talking about? Go ahead, Adil.
Can I come in, please? You know, I think my friend Weber was making ludicrous statements today, but be that as it may, can I please make my statement? We have to diagnose the problem correctly if we are attempting to find a solution today. The reality is, and this has been acknowledged by the Honorable Supreme Court in its judgment, I will mail the judgment to my friend Weber. There is today a toxic combination of hate, bigotry, which is coupled with fake news. Please understand, today all these lynchers enjoy state patronage, and I will point out all these instances to Mr. Vaibhav. When you have the Union Culture Minister paying homage to the Dadri accused, you are emboldening such criminals. When you have Giriraj Singh and Jayant Sinha, who happen to be your ministers, garlanding convicted lynchers, writers and murderers, you are telling them that we stand with you, please continue with your polarization drive. So the BJP cannot run away from these facts. Please see Swami Agnivesh ji's incident yesterday. He was beaten up mercilessly. He is 78 years old, Supriya ji. He was beaten up mercilessly. These BJP goons filmed him. The individuals, the accused persons have been identified as the district general secretary of the BJP and their state Kisan chief. And till now, the national president of the BJP has not expelled them from the party. So when you say that this is a social phenomenon, you're wrong. This is a phenomenon which is patronized by the BJP. Now your own statistics indicate that if you look at the data as far as cow-related violence is concerned, 97% of these incidents have taken place post 2014, and it's none other than Mr. Modi who had actually sown the seeds for this kind of polarization in the run-up to the 2014 election when he spoke about Pink Revolution.
Adil, let's not make this. Okay, Adil, let's not. Okay, Adil, don't politicize the issue. I hear your comments.
I'm not making it. I'm not making it partisan.
Okay, let me go.
Judgment.
Okay, fair enough. Adil, I hear you.
Invoke section 153A.
Okay.
Invoke the section which talks about promoting enmity. The Supreme Court has said that this kind of grandstanding of accused persons and criminals is destroying our syncretic culture.
Okay,
this
Weber,
is not Adil Boparai saying. This is the Chief Justice of India saying.
Okay, Adil
Please
and
put out those paragraphs.
Okay, Adil and Weber,
and it is shameful for my friend Weber to say, what do you expect us to do?
Outshouting is not going to help. Adil, let me interrupt you. I need to go to Mr. MN Singh and ask a very simple question. Mr. MN Singh, can any fake news item or a WhatsApp forward embolden a mob to kill? Number one. Number two, is it not a function of inefficient and, may I dare say, a complicit police force and maybe political patronage as well that has led to these events and these incidents getting blown up?
Well, the gentleman from the BJP, he said Mr. Singh doesn't know what he is talking. I don't have to say anything more. The other speakers have already given enough statistics to contradict him. I think it shows the level of intolerance even in debate, civilized debate on the channel. To talk about a co-panelist in this terms is not something which one would
Mr.
appreciate.
Singh, I gave you a rebuttal on
now,
a valid
you see,
fact.
making it, I said earlier, let me tell you now, please. I heard your abuses. I did not interrupt you.
He is not representing a political party.
I heard your abuses. I did not
Yeah, he's not representing a political party. He's here in his capacity as a former police commissioner, and trading barbs was unfortunate. But anyways, please go ahead and make your point, Mr. Singh.
Any political party.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Mr. Singh, make your point.
I did not name any political party. I think you are being oversensitive about the matter and you are not willing to discuss it threadbare. I made it a point that if you make it only a law and order problem, you are making it very simplistic. You try to find solution to this problem by only amending the laws and blaming the police as a failure in law and order maintenance. That I think you are completely missing the target. And you see, I agree that there are enough provisions in the law to deal with this problem of rioting. But the Supreme Court has talked about a mobocracy, the whole culture of violence, and also indicated sufficiently strongly that there is some kind of a silence from certain quarters. Now, you may challenge the Supreme Court if you want to challenge it, but this is what it is. You see, you can't run away from the reality. Now, you talked about that this anti-cow law has been there in existence for many years, but why have these cases of vigilantism increased only in the last 3 years? You tell me. There has been an increase of about from 63 cases, 61 cases. Now there are a whole lot of statistics is available. You cannot run away with this. This vigilantism and mob lynching has become a recent phenomenon. It is a matter of great concern to the whole country, and it is the duty of the people sitting in the government to curb it, to check it. If you think that the police alone can do it, I think you are not willing to tackle the problem. It is as simple as that. Yes, I agree there are certain provisions which can be strengthened within the law. Like the Indian Penal Code has section 153A and the whole sections from 295 to 298 which deals with provocations on religious grounds and also disturbing peace on religious ground. But you could probably strengthen the law by making some provisions about hate crime. Also, this misuse of the social media, I am not a technical man, but some solution has to be found out of how to prevent the misuse of social media, because it's certainly driving the people crazy and merely based on rumors. They are going and killing. Let me also tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there is a certain pattern in these violences. It is not simply a case of mob lynching based on, there are certain patterns. For example, the mob frenzy is ultimately only to kill and not only to assault the fellow and leave him.
Right.
The attack is with the intention of killing the man altogether.
Absolutely.
The attack is to spread terror in the society.
Absolutely.
Do not forget this aspect. Right. Also, I see a pattern in this.
No, absolutely. And I'm going to.
Yes,
I
Mr.
think
if you take it so lightly, then you are totally ignoring the Supreme Court concerns.
Yes, okay. I can't agree with you more that I don't think we can take a mob killing a man lightly, and not when it's repeated, not when it's happening in different parts of the country. But to be fair, Vaibhav Agarwal, I want you to come in and make your point there, because look at the larger point that MN Singh is making. A, there is a pattern to this. B, you know, this is happening on account of failed law and order. This isn't just about lynching. This isn't just about fake news. The crux of this debate is it's happening due to police being complicit at times and some political patronage. Vaibhav.
Okay, you've said it very rightly, but where I disagree with Mr. Singh is that there is no hate crime, quote unquote, even mentioned in the Supreme Court order. Okay, so even if Adil wants to send me a copy, I have no problem. But having said that, and having said that, the cops alone, rightly said by him also, and one minute. It is part of the submission that Tehseen has made. It is not part of the order that has been made.
No,
read it again,
you will understand.
The order only comes in the last 10 pages. So paragraph 20 is a word copy from the submissions made by the Tehseen. Now, okay, let me say that I don't want to make it a political slugfest here. Okay, I don't want to make it a political slugfest. I am not Congress. I will never be, though I have very good friends like you in the Congress. So let me make 8 points very crisply. You know, Mr. MN Singh, being a former cop, he's also agreed that police alone can't do this. Now police alone can't do this. There is a social obligation that we have. Now, while in last 4 years we've been able to study what has gone wrong and what has gone right, one of the reasons that we've understood that there is a spike in all these incidents very, very rationally and pragmatically is that there is presence of Facebook and tools like WhatsApp which help you collect mob and instigate mobocracy instantly. Okay. So that's one part. So we definitely need to put in checks and balances there within reasonable limits. Now, if we start calling that spycraft and state spycraft, state sponsored spycraft, I think that's very illegitimate. When the INB ministry's PSU, BECIL went ahead and ordered a social media monitoring hub, there was a hue and cry that no, how can you monitor its privacy, and then someone from TMC goes and moves an application. Very unfortunate. Okay. It's a contradictory political stance from the opposition parties that come in all the time. Now, I don't want to make it a political slugfest.
We were running out of time.
Just hold on for a minute.
Motives have to be established. This is a societal issue.
No, we get that. We are at 9:53. We can't carry on with this debate forever.
Okay. Weber, allow me to interrupt. I need to get a quick word. I need to get a quick word from. I need to get a quick word from Apar, who's been, patiently listening to the debate that's been happening. Apar, the court. Let's get back to the judgment yesterday. The court has argued that the existing framework of law is inadequate to deal with mob lynching as a crime. Is it? Can a new lynching law really prevent mobocracy? Is a new law what we need?
Well, we do need a law, but it's a multi-sided problem. It has aspects of the enforcement, which is basically the police officers, and they don't need to be punished. They need greater resources, they need greater reforms, they need greater amount of training. So we should look at police reforms, the apparatus which will implement the law. The second will be the substantive law, the anti-lynching law. Lynching by itself is a political act. It is one group establishing its dominance over others through a public display of violence. We need a lynching law not only because it punishes a group, but also then safeguards witnesses, has other victim rehabilitation programs built into it. The third element is technology. We do need to promote a greater conversation on responsible use of technology, as well as have underlying laws which promote a greater diversity of media within platforms, and I think that's the problem. So with these three suggestions, I would say let's start our work, because if we just make it a very political kind of A versus B, we are not going to move towards a society which will use digital India or the tools that we get responsibly to advance our national interest.
Okay. Digital India and all that set aside, I really want to live in a society where people are not killed by a faceless mob. But that apart, Adil Singh Bopara, I'm going to ask you a more responsible... Hold on one second. It is not my call. It is the call of each one of us present on this panel here. Adil, I'm going to ask you a more responsible question. More than law and order, we can all blame it on law and order. We can all blame it on WhatsApp. Does the fault also lie with this very heightened political climate right now? And does the responsibility of tempering it down also not lie with the opposition? It just is not the government's call. Yes, perhaps there are some in the government who are to be blamed, but there are many in the opposition who also fan frenzy on account of this. Doesn't the responsibility lie on both sides of the political spectrum? Are you willing to play your part in tempering it down? Adil.
Supriya ji, you have to understand, and this is also something which has been recorded by the Supreme Court, that this rising intolerance and polarization is leading to this mindless violence. Now, since you've spoken about law and order, I'll give you a specific instance of the Harper lynching. There are video recordings which indicate that there was a lynch mob which attacked these two individuals, and one of them was killed. But how did the police respond? The police, instead of booking those people under 302, foisted a bogus case and came up with a theory of a road rage incident. The problem today is that all these elements enjoy political patronage, and as long as you don't rid the BJP of its bigoted ideology, there cannot be a solution. The Supreme Court in its direction says that all these cases of explosive dissemination of these messages, please invoke section 153A, which talks about promoting enmity between different groups. So therefore, please understand, this is flowing out of religious polarization. And it's unfortunate, Weber was a dear friend, it is unfortunate the brazenness with which he's responding today. The people of this country has elected the BJP to govern, and when a spokesperson of the BJP comes and says, what do you expect us to do? I mean, this is pitiable to say the least.
Adil, okay.
The country expects you to govern.
Okay.
The country does not expect you to divide people, lynch people in the name
Fair
of
enough.
religion,
Okay,
caste,
okay,
and
okay.
support
Let's not
rapists
end
and
the debate
murderers.
on a political
This is
statement
not what India is.
when we are trying to talk about how we can temper the political climate,
it's
how
not
we can
political
reduce the
statement. This
extent
is
of
the reality of
polarization.
India, Sandeep
Let's
ji.
not.
The Supreme
I
Court
hear you.
recognizes this.
I hear you. The Supreme Court has recognized some other things, and hopefully, whoever needs to take note of that will take note of that. I'm unfortunately completely timed out. Apart, Hemant Singh, Adil, and Vaibhav, thank you enough. Thank you for joining us with that perspective on this debate. I can tell you, we need to do a lot more conversations. We need to do whatever it takes. If a law is what we need, then so be it. If tighter checks on social media platforms is what we need, then so be it. But as a country, we need to do whatever it takes to fight mobocracy.
I don't know about you, but I certainly can't make my peace with the fact that a faceless mob comes and kills a human being and gets away with it. It becomes the judge, the jury, the prosecutor and the executor. This isn't a country that I grew up in, and I certainly don't want my kids to be witnessing this kind of hatred as well. And if that means as a civil society we take a call on cracking down on some of this fake news and perhaps even looking at reining in WhatsApp and other platforms like that, then so be it, because nobody has a business to kill without a license in this country. Thank you very much for being with us. Up next is Top 10 at 10.